Daddy, why'd they build all those pyramids? May 3, 2189 AD, Chapter 88. At midnight of May 2, the weather front which had passed over the West African plain veered north and reached the Jezreel Valley. It kept yielding a light rain as it crossed Algeria, Libya, Egypt, and then Israel. As it reached the higher elevation of Jerusalem, a few snowflakes began to mix in with the raindrops. The temperature fell rapidly until it reached freezing, and by the first light of Sunday, May 3, the Jezreel Valley was blanketed in a foot of beautiful white snow. As the front moved east towards Syria and Iraq, a light northwest breeze kept the temperature hovering around 32 degrees. When the sun broke the horizon, all on the battlefield were greeted to the most beautiful scene many could remember. However, the evil Inca army, and particularly its generals, did not appreciate the beauty in the least. "Well, that does it," Knapp said, entering the Nazareth headquarters. "Even I, the great Napoleon Bonaparte, couldn't beat Old Man Winter." He put his hand in his waistcoat and continued, "Nor could my esteemed colleague." He did not gesture in Ad's direction, but all in the room understood. "General Caesar, how are you fixed for ammo?" Bells asked. "I got enough, maybe a couple days' worth, maybe less, but my more immediate concern is provision. Most have less than a day's ration." "General, I got troops bringing up the manna from Africa. It'll be here by tomorrow morning, the 4th, Luke said. There'll be plenty then." What Luke failed to mention was that at the moment no angel had been able to leave the West African plain. In fact, many were defecting. "The First Corps is ready, sir," Caesar said. "The snow is soft, General, and the temp is 32 degrees and will climb. The snow will not be a problem. I recommend a full assault, sir." Bells stared at him, the wheels of his angelic brain spinning as never before. He knew the snow was God's doing, and he and his generals did not appreciate God's humor one bit. Yet he was not supposed to believe in Pops, that is, God, but he, Bells, did believe in him, well, his existence. But he believed more in himself and Luke, even though Luke had blown it at the wilderness meeting with God's Son over 2,000 years ago. The angels all now referred to that meeting as the Battle of the Wilderness. Humans called it the Three Great Temptations. He and Luke had also lost the first battle of heaven, but were determined not to lose the second one. Everything would soon be theirs to do with what they pleased. Waiting one more day would make no difference. Then they would have provisions. But what was really bothering Bells more than anything was that if the enemy, Gabe and the boys, advanced on them today, Bells and his army would have to respond. They could fight a defensive battle and probably hold on, but their position for a defensive fight was not nearly as strong as Gabriel's good corps army. If they thought the defensive battle they would use up their ammo and their provisions, then on the day 4 of the battle they would be so low on ammo and provisions they could not launch a successful counteroffensive, which Bells was sure could break the good corps army and give him the victory, provided they had adequate provisions and ammo. He had attacked with his right flank on day 1 and then with his left on day 2, gaining no ground on either day. He was convinced his best shot was to maintain the offensive and make a massive strike at the center of Gabe's army, the 2nd Corps manned by old King David. As Bell's wheels turned, Julius's, Knapp's, Ad's, Genghis, and Luke's wheels turned in exactly the same direction. It was nearing 9 a.m. The temperature remained at 32 degrees. The snow was not melting even in the now bright sun, and the northwest wind was increasing. They all took turns staring at the map, one another, and out the window. The enemy had not budged. Luke finally said, "General, let's take a break. The enemy has made no sign of movement. It's 9. We got plenty of time. Let's all go and have some breakfast and meet back here at 10. Then we'll plan our day." All nodded in agreement and filed out of the war room. All that is, but Napoleon. He lingered a bit, whispering to himself, "Pas de chance, pas de chance, pas de chance."